Welcome to CINEPRO, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The story begins with a little girl who enters her mother's room and finds out that she hears a strange sound coming from the roof and she can't sleep from it. The mother is not paying attention to her. She tells her that there is no sound and asks her to return to the room with her to make sure everything is okay. She understands that it was just a dream, nothing more. Of course, she realizes that she actually heard the sound while awake. The mother tells her it could be Santa Claus putting their gifts. She returns to the kitchen to drink something and starts hearing a sound coming from the roof. Then she notices the house door is open, which makes her very scared. She tries to close the door and goes back to the room again. When she talks to her husband, she tells him she saw the main door open. Of course, he forgets that he locked but doesn't respond to her and continues sleeping. She gets very annoyed by his negligence. Time passes, and we see the child hearing the sound again. She realizes Santa Claus has returned to the room and gets very annoyed by his negligence. Time passes, and we see the child hearing the sound again. She realizes Santa Claus has returned to the room. She tries to wake her brother Tommy to check the gift with her, but he doesn't respond as he continues sleeping, just like their father. In the end, Joyce manages to see Santa Claus standing far away. Unfortunately, she doesn't know that it's the clown Art. She tries to hide from him after Art reveals his face and moves toward her brother Tommy's room. Here, Tommy hears the sound of cutting coming from the room. Of course, we understand what happened to him without seeing the scene itself until he moves to the parents' room. Naturally, Joyce is terrified after hearing that sound. He moves toward the father to cut him into pieces. Then, the mother wakes up to blood and a strange sound and sees the clown in her face. After he finishes off her husband, she tries to escape from him. She runs to her son's room to check on him, but realizes he had been cut earlier. She continues searching for her daughter, and Art keeps chasing her. Here, he manages to hit her with the axe he had before she left the house. He manages to sever all her body parts until he becomes very tired. He sits down to eat something and appears very happy with the massacre that happened. He decides to clean up the mess. At this time, he hears a sound coming from the kitchen. He sees Joyce hiding from him. Unfortunately, he finishes her off too. 5 years before the incident that happened now, we see a police officer receiving a report about the amusement park that was in the second part and where help was requested. He arrives at Art's section and sees that his head is separated from his body. He quickly calls for backup from the rest of the forces until Art grabs him by the neck. After finishing him off, Art takes his head and moves with it into the subway. Then we return to the hospital where Vicky hears someone screaming from her floor. She calls security to check what's happening. When they arrive at the room, they are shocked by the scene. We learn that Art's head is eating the nurse's body. Before losing his mind, he sees Art's body moving without a head until it attacks him. It manages to kill him easily. After all this, Art takes his head to leave the hospital with Vicky. They board the subway. Surely nothing happens until someone disguised in Art's official costume appears. He is very impressed by them, thinking they are disguised like him. He tries to take pictures of them from afar until Art tricks him. In the end, we learn that they killed him, of course. Art takes his clean clothes and returns to his house. In the bathroom, we see Vicky looking at herself in the mirror, feeling very upset. She breaks it, causing the glass to fall to the ground. She enters the bathtub to cut herself with the fallen glass. Art remains seated on the chair. The next day, we see a person named Ray arriving at the mental health facility to pick up Sienna, who had been staying there recently. We learn that she is his niece and that she will live with them at his house. Later, we see Gabby greeting Sienna and feeling very happy that she will stay with them. She meets her uncle's wife, Jessica, who takes her bags to Gabby's room. We learn that Gabby loves magical stories that her uncle used to write. Sienna continues talking to her until Gabby gives her a Christmas card, wishing they spend a great time together. Then, we see 2 city supervisors arriving at Art's house to inspect it because it's very old and about to collapse. Spencer gets scared when he sees rats running in front of him on the ground. Jack calms him down, saying there's nothing to be scared of. He keeps talking about stories that might actually scare him. He tells him about the murderer who kidnapped 10 children, locked them in this house, and buried all the corpses in the garden. That's why people say the house is haunted by evil spirits. Spencer is sure Jack is joking to scare him. Later, we return to Sienna, who is trying to unpack her bags until she sees her picture with her father. We learn he used to write fantasy stories, and Sienna always asked him to create superhero characters for girls. He promised her he would write a story about a superhero girl. Meanwhile, Gabby keeps reading Sienna's diary. When she sees the part about the clown, she quickly takes it away from her before she can continue reading it. She asks her not to read that diary again. Then we return to the clown's house, where Spencer sees him sitting on the chair in front of him. We learn it's the same place from about 5 years ago. Jack enters the bathroom to see Vicky's corpse. The smell is very bad. Before he can take a picture of what happened, Vicky decides to stab him in the neck with the glass to kill him. Spencer is still alive. Sienna feels scared about something. On the other side, we see Sienna's brother John, who is staying in a boarding school for college. He enters his friend's room and finds him with his girlfriend Mia. Everyone in the school knows what happened to John and the clown, and that he's the only one who escaped and survived. Mia tells him she works for the school radio station and needs to interview him to record all the details of what happened with the clown. But John refuses something like that, until Sina calls her brother and tells him that they are with their uncle now. She asks him to meet him as soon as possible because she misses him a lot. He decides to take a day off from school to do this. When we go back to the clown, we see him preparing a new weapon to kill people in a different way, which was a freezing tube. Febby tries this weapon on the mouse that was in front of him, freezes within seconds. Then he breaks it to kill it easily. Then he goes out to the street to test the weapon. Someone disguised in a Santa Claus outfit is sitting in the bar. He wants to take the clothes to continue his crimes. Of course, the man is very confused by him. The bar owner asks him about what's in his bag. He pulls out a horn and starts annoying his father with it. Notably, Santa is the only one who likes this clown. Unfortunately, he doesn't know what might happen to him shortly, until the supervisor arrives at the place. Here, the owner asks Art about his identity, to make sure he is of legal age. He shows him Jackson's card, and we discover it's the card of the supervisor whom Vicky had killed in the bathroom, until he spits the drink on Santa. And finally, the owner gets angry at him and tries to kick him out of the place with his bag. But unfortunately, the clown shoots him with the gun he had, killing him easily. Then he kills the second person with him. Of course, Santa apologizes for what he did earlier. He ties him to the chair and mocks him. Here he takes all his clothes as he wanted to from the start. He pulls out his ice machine to freeze his leg and tries to break it with the hammer he holds. The clown is very pleased with this until he freezes the rest of his body, of course killing him. In the room, we see Jessica sitting with Rio, talking about Sina. He tells her that the girl should have stayed longer in the asylum because she's not ready to be with them yet. Jessica tries to explain that she will recover faster here and is taking her medications on time. Tomorrow, she will celebrate Christmas with them. At night, we see Gabby with Sina preparing clothes for the mall, until she sees someone dressed as Santa Claus walking past the store, waving at her from afar with a handful of blood. She feels it's definitely Art the clown, and she's very scared of him, until we return to John. Noticing that Sina is sitting with him after finishing with Gabby, she invites him to come to their house to celebrate together. But John is afraid of something like that, and tells her he can't come tonight because of the party at college, until his friend arrives, greeting him. Not much time passes before we see Mia also entering, very happy that Sina is with her brother. She insists on interviewing both of them, but at that moment, she speaks to her harshly, angrily accusing her of not being able to live her life because of the clown and what happened to her. She says she has no conscience. When she gets up, John follows her, asking why she's so upset. She tells him she saw the clown today. He tells her that's impossible, as his head was cut off to get rid of him. Sina insists she's sure of what she saw, saying she saw the clown today at the mall, wearing Santa Claus's clothes. Finally, she explains they need to eliminate Vicky too, because she's turned into a clown-like figure, killing more people. She used to send her messages from the asylum, always saying that demons enter our world, through the dead, but they don't choose just anyone to do this. She tells him they must eliminate the clown and Vicky together with the magical sword. She says they need to return to the amusement park to search for him and kill Vicky with the clown. John is, of course, terrified by the idea. Then we return to the clown entering the children's mall. He manages to sit in Santa's place, who is now dead, gathering all the children around him. Of course, security realizes this isn't Santa who was sitting there earlier, until one of the children opens the gift he received from Art the clown. Inside, they discover a bomb, which explodes in the entire place. People are, of course, shocked by what just happened before their eyes. At the same time, John is terrified, smashing things in his room because the clown is still alive. He tries to take his sedative to sleep a little. At night, Sina returns to her uncle's house, trying to place Gabby's gift under the Christmas tree, but Gabby catches her easily, asking about the dirt on her hands. She's surprised by how it got there, explaining she fell earlier and brushes it off. She goes to the bathroom to wash quickly. When she returns to the kitchen, we see Jessica preparing food. She finds it strange that Gabby knows what food Sina doesn't like. She realizes Gabby must have continued reading the journals, confronting her privately. Gabby admits she made a big mistake earlier, confessing she read the entire journal because she wanted to know the clown's story, what happened to her, and how she's still alive. She asks for forgiveness for what happened. Sina tells her she must not tell anyone about what she read earlier. Meanwhile, Art arrives at John's college, noticing the party has started. He approaches Mia and her friend Cole's room, overhearing her talking about the clown, expressing her desire to interview Sina or her brother to ask them how they felt seeing the clown face to face. Art hears everything from outside. We return to Sina at her uncle's house. On the news, she hears about the explosion at the mall, where around 11 children have died. Sina becomes very worried about her brother, realizing the clown is indeed still alive. He must be the one who did this, especially since she saw him at the same mall that just exploded. The witnesses confirm that the perpetrator was someone disguised in Santa Claus's clothes. Sina is terrified for her brother at college. She asks them to contact John quickly so he can be with them at home, away from the clown. Her uncle tries to call him, letting him know Sina needs to see him now, offering to pick him up from college. Sina takes the phone to speak to him herself, telling him the clown is indeed still alive. Her uncle heads out. Jessica tells him Sina took a sedative to calm down. She admits he was right about her needing to stay in the asylum longer. He says he'll discuss it with her when he returns. In the bathroom, we see the clown Art approaching Mia and her friend. After he kills them in a brutal way, he finds himself surrounded by blood, feeling very pleased with what happened. Until Ray arrives at John's college to pick him up. He tries calling him again, but this time, a very strange voice answers. We realize that the person speaking to him isn't John at all, but the clown, Art. He informs him that he's coming for him immediately to take him. Afterward, we see Sina dreaming of her deceased father, who shows her the picture of the superhero she drew, holding a magical sword capable of killing any evil person. She then wakes up from her dream, hearing many noises coming from the kitchen. Thinking her brother John has finally arrived, she rushes downstairs, only to be shocked when she sees Vicky in front of her, wearing the clown's clothes and looking exactly like him, laughing in her face. At this moment, the clown has already cut Ray and hung him on the wall. Sina tries to escape quickly, but the clown easily catches her, knocking her to the ground and hitting her head, causing her to lose consciousness. When she wakes up again, she finds herself tied to a chair. At the same time, we see her Aunt Jessica tied up in front of her. Vicky keeps filming them, and we learn that Ray's head is hanging on the Christmas tree. Jessica screams, asking them what happened to her daughter. The clown shows her the head of her daughter, who was kept in a cage with the rats. Of course, she breaks down after what happened to her daughter. The clown and Vicky then decide to stuff her mouth with rats using a large tube, killing her in the most horrific way possible. Afterward, they turn their attention to Sina, telling her that she will die soon too, but she must suffer first. They bring Gabby into the room, and we find out she's still alive. Vicky then blames Sina for being the reason everyone around her died, revealing that the skull in the middle actually belonged to her brother, and she places his glasses on it.